Hello everyone. So today we will discuss like how to use a locking mechanism using a Spring Data JPA. So like before going to the explanation of this one, let's say like why we need this locking. So like suppose let's say we are developing one enterprise applications or maybe any applications. So there maybe we need to do certain kind of transactions, right? So for managing the transactions, we are doing means we are managing something like we are doing some kind of for handling those asset properties. We are managing some transactions using the commit, rollback, all those things we are applied. But for managing the concurrency control, like suppose there is a if it is a multi-thread A and B, like a same time multiple thread can access the same database. So in this certain scenario, for managing those concurrent access to the database is very crucial, right? So suppose we how like we can handle those kind of multiple transaction in a effective and most importantly the error proof way, right? Means without any error. How can I handle those things? So for achieve those things means how for achieving those means managing the transaction in multi environment situations, this means Java persistence API provide locking mechanism. So this is the way, like in this way we can like handle the multiple updates on the same data at the same time without any kind of interpret data with each other. So this locking mechanism allow us to do parallel work with the same data in the database. When more than one transaction tries to access the same data at the same time, this kind of locks actually come into the picture, so that we can easily like data consistency and integrity, all those things will be maintained, because the data is very important, right? So like now we'll understand like what are the types of this locking. So in the data JPA, we'll get there are two types of actually locking. One is the optimistic locking, another one is the pessimistic locking. So we'll go one by one, like what is the benefit, means why we are using the optimistics, why we are going to use the pessimistics. So there are also like means here there is a scenarios, like if we are taking one real example, like where actually this kind of situations may occur. Suppose let's say one example of the reservation system. Maybe we are booking a train ticket, or maybe booking a travel bus ticket, or maybe flight ticket, or any kind of ticket if we are like booking from online or anywhere, right? So let's say there is a two trade, actually two user book that same ticket for the same bus, same route, at the bus is also same, but the situation is, for example, there is only the capacity of this seats is one, only one is left. Okay, now suppose if we two users trying to access the book the ticket in the same time, now if we are not like provide this kind of locking, then the at a time, suppose when they will hit the validations like how many seats are available, so if they are hitting the same time in the same time, then they will get the available, like there's one seats available. So now what will happen, actually two ticket actually two seats, because there is only one seat was available, but two user able to book the ticket at the same time, which is wrong, right? Because only one seat was available, but two person can book the ticket at the same time. So this is a wrong. So for that, actually this kind of like locking we need to like means we need to apply, or we need to implement in the project. So let's say actually I'll, for the demonstrations purpose, I have like I will create one kind of this PT or this reservation system, where actually I will like use two entities just for example. Actually in the real scenario there will be lot of actually database will involve, like user tables, and also there are a lot of tables actually, but just without going into more detail, just for little bit of understandings how this locking kind of locking mechanisms work. So there for this one I just created one small application, so which having a two entities, which one is the bus details, another one is the ticket. So bus details actually store the details about the bus, like bus number, then capacity, how many having this particular bus. So those kind of information, and the route details also we can store or maybe not. So those details can be, we can store in the bus details. And ticket, actually it is store the details about the ticket informations with the person details and with the bus number, bus ID. Okay, and for this also we will use one H2 memory database, and in this H2 memory database we will store those data. And as a project dependency, I will use the Spring Boot project, and with Gradle dependency management tool, and with that also we will use the Java 17. So this is about the system that I'm going to demonstrate now. So let's see how it is it's look like. Okay, so for creating this particular applications, as I was discussing about this reservation system, so what we need to create actually, first we need to create this project from the Spring initializer. From there we can easily create this Spring Boot project, and from there we can select multiple options they are provide, like what kind of project you need to create, like it's a Gradle or Maven based project. Then you can choose the Java dependencies. So from there I have created this project, and also choose some dependencies like added dependencies uh, as you can say over here. This is the starter data JPA, as I'm going to use this data JPA. Spring Boot starter web for creating the controller, REST controller. So for this we need Lombok, just to for avoid the getter and setter method, because whenever we are creating any DTOs, then we don't need to, sometimes we don't need getter and setter, because if we write those things, then the class length looks very heavy actually, right? So just to avoid that, I have used this Lombok. Then DevTools, just to real-time reloading those things. H2 in-time memory databases, as I'm not going to use any other databases, so that's why I'm going to use the in-memory database like H2. And then test, just we can equal. So common length that I've used one purpose, so that I will explain in the later phase. And the source company is the JDK 17, and I am using Spring Boot 3.1.2. So this is a kind of the dependencies for this project I've used. And next what we will do actually, for this project we need to create two entities. One is the bus details and another one is the ticket details, right? And because we are going to save data into this, and then we need to create one service which will actually save those data, and one controller. So let's create those entities. So let's create first one package entity. Okay, so here actually we need to create bus details. For example, class bus details. Okay, now we need to annotate it with getter, then setter. Next it will be entity, right? So that's why we need to map it with entity. Next, table, actually the table name. So if you are not aware of this one, the hibernate entities, the annotations, one to many, many to one, ID, generated values, so then please let me know in the comment section, so that in the next I will create one tutorial for this one for better understanding. Okay, okay, so this creation is done. Next we need to create those let's say it's we need to create those column long ID, one timestamp, local date time, or maybe you can say it's a departure time. Okay, next capacity, private integer seat capacity, or just simple keep it like capacity. Okay, next okay, that's for this. Just only one we need to map of the ticket, so let's create the ticket one, another entity, ticket, and table name is ticket details. Okay, and here actually the ID will be same. Next, like we need to, and next like what you can say, like the first name, first name, first name, then like last name. Next we can say gender. Okay, capacity here we don't need, but we need to provide the mapping with the bus details, right? So private, okay, and here actually it will be like we can annotate it with many to 1, and we can say the face type should be lazy dot lazy, and in also need to provide the join column, the name be a bus ID. Okay, so this is done. Next, like here we need to provide as a ID because it's a primary key of this particular table, and also it's a auto generated value, so that's why it's a generated value. We need to provide this generated value. So this is about this ticket. Now let's go to this here actually the bus details we need to map this ticket one. So let's say private set of ticket, okay, okay, first import the set, then it will come as a tickets. Next we need to, here it will be a one to many, and it will be mapped by bus details. Okay, here you can check this is the bus details, it will be mapped with this bus details, and this ID is a primary key, so obviously we need to annotate with it this ID, and also it a auto generated value, so generated value. Okay, so this is about this one. Now here we can add one method which will actually add the tickets, so it's obviously void, then add ticket, and here we need to pass this object ticket dot set bus details. It will be at this like and next dot set, sorry, we need to add this ticket. Okay, so we can use this one for adding the details into the add the tickets. Okay, so this is done. Yeah, and bus details, here is the ticket details. Okay, this is looks okay. Next what we'll do, we will like create one service. Let's create another package, like instead of entity we can write as a service package. We need to create another class, for example bus detail service, or maybe instead of this we can say booking service. Okay, okay, so here we need to, what we will do, we will like we need to book the ticket, like public void book ticket. Okay, so here what it will do, we need to like first fetch the details, means like based on the like ID, whatever the bus ID it is, and based on the ID we will fetch the bus details, and then we will check the capacity, like if the seat is available, then only we will allow the for booking the seat, right? So for checking this one, like we need to create repository. Let's create those repository. New package, repository. Okay, so here new class we need to create. Instead of class we need to create interface, like bus interface. Okay, and here what we will do, we need to like extend, we need to extend CRUD repository. Yes, here actually we need to provide the entity name, bus details, and here it will bus details, and here it will be a long. Okay, this is done. Next, similar fashions we need to create another like repository for ticket. Ticket repository. Okay, here actually instead of bus it will be a ticket, and the ID type is long. Okay, so now the repository creation is done. Next what we will do, we will means we need to fetch the data. So like we need to annotate over here, AutoWare private bus repository. Okay, next AutoWare ticket repository. Okay, this is done now. So next, like we need to fetch the data based on the ID, like find by ID. So here we will provide the data, it will be a long, so long, and then what it will return, it will return optional. Okay, let's add the data type optional. It will optional bus details. So in this current implementation, actually I'm just what I'm trying to do, I'll just try to like just creating this particular project, and then like we'll try to insert the means we'll replicate the same thing, like if we are doing this kind of booking service, then how it will look like without locking, then I will apply those locking. Okay, so it will be a bus details. Okay, next we need to check like if is present, if it is present, then we will like going to save the ticket. So here actually save ticket, we need to create another method actually. Okay, so here actually what we will pass, we will pass what we will pass, we will pass like passenger details, like string first name, string last name, gender, like we can provide any hard coded, and then like the entity. this bus details. Here we need to check first, like if we need to check the capacity, right? So bus details dot get capacity. If it is less than or equal to bus details dot get tickets dot size, right? Means this is the existing capacity. If this capacity, if it is less than or equal to whatever the ticket is there, right, then only then we will not allow actually. Like suppose whenever we are going to book a ticket, those are seat will be available. So if the capacity is less than or equal to whatever the seats is there, suppose this is the showing how many data is having into the ticket details. So if the tickets is already having, for example, suppose we are having the 50 seats in a bus. Now this particular already 50 seat is full, so it will return also 50 and here is 50, so it will throw some exception. So what kind of exception will throw? Maybe seat not available, means throw new seat not available. Okay, seat not available. So we can create one customized exception. So let's create new, change to exception, change to this, change create class. Okay, so this is, we need to create one. Okay, what it is saying, it means we need to generate one serializable, then it's fine. Okay, so we created one custom exception, and from here we need to throw this exception. Okay, now this is fine. Next we will create this ticket entity. Means we are preparing the data with this entity. Okay, and here we need to set those details, like set first name, ticket dot set last name, ticket dot gender. So we can provide hard-coded male, for example, male or female. So I'm providing both here, and then like we need to, so this is done. Next what we will do, we need to, here actually we need to add this ticket. Okay, and then means based on this repository we need to save this entity. Okay, so this is done actually, and from here if it is present, then we need to actually save ticket. We need to, this method we need to call. So first name example like John, Alan, then like maybe this is the bus details dot get, so it will also, okay, we need to throw this exception. Okay, that's fine. And next actually let's pass another option, string gender, so that we can use this over here. And here we need to pass me. Okay, so this is done. And also like what we will do, we will actually like put one like sleep. thread sleep, so that each means all the thread will start in the same time. For example, 1 second, and it will also like throw. Okay, now create same another method, means I will call these two method in the same time. For example, it's a 1 and name is Myra, Alan, and it's a female. Okay, so these are done. Next, what we will do, we need to call these two method from the some thread. So that we need to do, right? So then actually we will call this one. So now what we will do, actually we will call this method from the controller. So let's create one controller. Dot controller. Okay, let's create one class like locking demo controller. Okay, so first we need to annotate it with REST controller. Mapping we need to provide request mapping. And here actually we need to provide the path, and here we need to create one method which will book the ticket, right? Okay, and it's a gate mapping. Then like we need to use one executor service, and here it's a book ticket. Actually we need to auto-aware this booking service, private booking service, booking service. Okay, next actually I will create the one run method. Okay, from here what we will do, return okay, and here actually we need to do kind of runnable dot run. You can say it's a runnable, this should be runnable dot run. Okay, why it is saying it is not applicable here? Okay, let's check. Okay, now you can. Okay, okay, 2 is not available, so 1. Okay, so in this way, like I'm calling this one as a multi-thread ENB. Like for this I've used the executor service and with the 2 thread, and at a time actually it will call this book ticket method 1 and also this book ticket 2 with this same, so that the both method it will hit the database in the same time, so that we can replicate those things, right? And also like as the initial phase, there is a no bus details available. So for that, what we need to do, we need to create another, like for add, means we need to provide one endpoint. So there's the bus, we can add the bus, right? So that's why it's a add bus, and then like we need to pass this parameter like request param, request param string name actually, or we can say number, bus number, and then request param, it's a integer capacity. Okay, and we need to annotate the one bus repository, private bus repository. Okay, using this we can save the data here, dot save entity. So what we need to do, we need to prepare the bus details. Okay, and here actually we need to populate some data, dot set capacity, which is coming from the request, and next bus details dot set, like name is not there, we need to add the name. Okay, let's add the name in the bus. Okay, or maybe we are having the capacity and numbers. Okay, we need to add the bus number, private string, or maybe it's a only number. Okay, okay, set number, departure time also we need to set local date time. Just for example, I am keeping it as a local date time dot now. In real scenario it will be different. Okay, so these three fields I have set here, capacity, number, and the departure time, and based on this I need to save this entity so that it will save the data. Okay, let's start this program. Run this one, Spring Boot app, it will start soon. It's showing failed, let me check. Okay, booking service, it's not able to annotate, so let me check. Okay, we need to annotate because it's not able to clear the bin, so I need to annotate with this service. Let me check the other services, all are fine. Let's restart this again. Let's check. It should start now. Yes, as you can see here, the SQL execution also done. Like it is created those table. We can check from the H2 console. So these are the created already, right? Tomcat started also, and these are also done. Okay, let me check this H2 console. DB name is reservation underscore DB, like this one, and this ticket are created, right? These tables are created. we can check. We don't have any details now. Same for the bus details also. So let's create some bus details. So for creating this, I have already this endpoint. From this endpoint we have created, like capacity is 2 and the bus number is bus 101. Let's send the request. It's a bad request. Okay, capacity and the number, let me check. It's having the number and capacity, number and capacity, and it's a typo. Let's rerun this again. It started. Now let's try this one. We are getting 200 now. Let's fetch the details from the bus. Okay, one record is started, right? Now so as this is having the 2 capacity, so just to replicate the same thing, just add one information over here. 1 id 1 first name test, last name test. Okay, so I'm adding here. Now why I'm adding here? So because from when I hit this one, this book ticket, it will actually try to save 2 tickets in the single time. So actually in the real scenario it should not allow, because it's already I have in the ticket details you can see already one is filled, right? And this bus details having the capacity 2, so it only allow the 1 ticket. Okay, so let's run this, means try to book this ticket. So I'm trying to hit this endpoint. It's done, and here failed to lazy initialize, could not initialize the proxy. Okay, let me check. Okay, it's showing this proxy session time, proxy initialize proxy no session. So okay, we need to annotate this method with the transactional. Okay, and same for this one also. Let's say it will automatically reload this one, and once it will reload, it will again flush the data from the S2 database, as it's in-memory database. So it will again remove all the data, flush all the data. So again I need to add this bus details, okay, it's success now. Now we can try to add the ticket. Okay, now try to again hit this. Okay, it's now success here, but let's see. Okay, here you can see, here actually 2 details are success, right? Means it's successfully insert these 2 ticket details. Now let's check the database ticket details here. Okay, okay, so actually I have not initially previously inserted one record, so let's try to keep one record here. Now let's try to run the means try to add the seat again. Okay, now it should not actually allow to insert one, only it's allow only one record, right? Now let's see, but it's inserted 2 records successfully, correct? Because means what happened actually here, previously I was not inserting any record, so that's why it was two records successfully inserted. So that's why there is no causing issues. But so on the situation it's a fine. But now what it will do, it will it's one record already inserted, and this particular bus having the capacity 2. So if only one is inserted, so it should not allow the 2. But here I am successfully inserted the 2 record. As you can see in the database also, the 2 record inserted successfully. Why it is inserted? Because till now we are not implementing any kind of locking mechanism. So in the same time, whenever we are hitting the request at the same time, then it actually pass this particular conditions. Like wherever we are putting this condition, this condition is break, means it's actually not in the same time it will pass this one. So that's why it's pass. So that's why it's actually saving the data. So just means if we want to like restrict this one or prevent this kind of concurrency control, then we need to implement the locking mechanism. And for applying those mechanism, we are having two kind of thing. One is the optimistics, another one is the pessimistics. So let's apply the optimistics locking. So for applying the optimistics locking, actually what we need to do, we need to create we need to add another field for the entity which called is a version. So that actually version annotation is there, that version actually we need to add over here. So private, it will be the data type will be for this long, integer, int. So this kind of timestamp also there. So these are only limitations of this data type. So these are only available. So let's add this one version. Okay, and same also we need to add in the ticket entity also. Okay, let's try this one. One more point, actually, if we are using, as you can see over here, if we are using this map by annotations key, then with that this version actually is not work. So in this situation also it will allow us to insert the two record. Means suppose if we are already one seat is reserved, only one is left, and in the same time if we are trying to book the ticket, two users is trying to book ticket at the same time, then two users successfully able to book the ticket, because this version actually is not supported with this one. I can show you here. Let's check this one. It's already restarted again, so it will be flash again. So I need to again add the bus. Okay, and then I need to book the ticket. So it will be initially successfully, because initially it's empty. If we see the run this one, so 2, let's delete 1. Okay, and it's a 1 now. Now let's try to now let's try to again add the bus. Success now. Let's see. Okay, it's inserted actually bus details. Okay, let me check. Okay, I actually I hit this one, so delete bus details too. Okay, so let's delete this one. Okay, now try to run this book ticket. Okay, let's check one. Bus details is 2 and ticket details should be 1. Yes, 1. Now let's try to book ticket. It's success now. Now let's check the console. Okay, let's see. It's inserted 2 ticket data, but it should not allow, right? Because you can see 2 allowed, but this is not the correct scenario, right? Because here only 2 seat was available, but here we can see the 3 is there, right? So for this one, what you need to do, we need to manually we need to mention actually those details actually, optimistic locking, as I'm going to discuss over here. So we need to provide this lock by manually. So where we will use this one, in the repository, we need to mention those things. So let's open the repository. In this bus repository, So here actually initially we are calling like one method, the find by id, so that was the default one. So here actually we need to call like create another method, like let's say find with lock, find with locking by id. Okay, and it should return like optional, optional, and it will be a bus details, and here we need to pass the id, long id, and here actually we need to annotate it with lock annotations. Okay, and here we need to provide the lock type, lock mode type, optimistic force increment. Okay, save this one, and then in the service, instead of this we need to use this method, find by id, this one. Okay, let's save this one. Okay, it's started. Okay, now data already flushed, so first we need to like add the bus details. It's success, right? Next, like book the ticket, so initially it will be success, and like in the console we can also check it will be okay. Let me check, it throws some exception. Okay, let me clear this console. Okay, let's check the database. Okay, here is the one data already there, right? Okay, in the bus details is 2. Now let's try to book the ticket again. So here we are trying to book 2 tickets, right? Let's see. So it's success now. Now here database, only one is inserted, another one is failed, means 2 thread we have passed. Initially it was success, but now instead of 2, 1 is already, means 1 is inserted. Now let's check the console what it is showing. In the console, if we see, it's showing this optimistic locking failure exceptions. Row was updated or deleted by the another transactions. Means, right, it's in the same time, same data update it will not allow. So if we check the database in the version actually for this bus, it's already incremented. If you see, the version is 2, so already is updated by some other thread, so that's why it's not allowing to insert the same data again. So this is the benefit of this optimistic locking. So using this we can like prevent to insert the duplicate, means not duplicate, actually insert the wrong data insertions, it will, right? So this is the benefit of this optimistic locking. So the same way we can also do this, we can achieve the pessimistic locking. So I can show you how we can do this. Okay, so this is the thing, and one more point. So as you see, like in this particular SQL, I've used this optimistic force increment. So actually this JP actually provides these 2 types of things, like optimistic read and this optimistic force increment. So this read actually, whenever we request to optimistic log more, then percentage provider will provider will prevent our data from the dirty reads, and this force increment is the same, but it will also increase the version of this one. Now like if we see like how to use the pessimistic locking. So in this optimistic locking, actually the tables are not locked. It is from the version actually, administrator is actually managing those things. But pessimistic locking, actually it will tables are locked at the database level, and this is the one difference, and so that maybe some kind of slowness is happen, because you know it's a kind of the locking in the table level. But in this case, optimistic, we are not locking into the table level. So if we are going to use this pessimistic locking actually, so for this we are going to use pessimistic right actually, like instead of this force increment we are going to pessimistic right. So there is a 3 types of pessimistic locking is there in the JPA, like one is the pessimistic read, pessimistic right, and the pessimistic force increment. So this pessimistic read is acquire a shared lock, and this locked entity cannot be changed before a transaction is commit. And right, if you say about this right, and it's acquire the exclusive lock actually, and the locked entity can be changed. And this pessimistic force increment, it's acquire an exclusive lock and update the version column in the locked entity can be also changed. So now like if we are going to use this one, like as we can already like shown how to use the pessimistic optimistic slot one, like let's like check for the pessimistic one. So for that I'm going to use another like lock at the lock, and then here we need to provide the lock mode type dot pessimistic right. Okay, let's rerun this one. Okay, so after this data is already like flushed from the, as it's a in-memory database, so we need to like add the bus details again. So here from here we can add the bus and also book the ticket, means obviously it's not should not throw any exceptions over here, like it's already inserted. Next like we can book the ticket, so like it will initially it will inserted two records. If we okay, this one ticket details two inserted, and in the bus we can get only one, right? Now like from the ticket details, let's try to simulate the same situations. Okay, so only one data is here. Now if we try to like insert try to book a two ticket, because two is trying to book a ticket at the same time, but one ticket is available. Let's try to run this one. Okay, run this one. It will allow only one record, we can say. And in the log, what you can see here, we can see the seat is not available. So as we can see the difference, like here, as it is a table locked, so that's why when the first data is insertion is done, until one is not completed, then the log is not released. So that's why on the release, then second thread is trying to access the data, but on the same time seat already full, so that's why it's throwing the seat is not available. So this is the like overall idea, like how we are going to use this one locking mechanism. As we know, this is a very like crucial things for applying this kind of locking. It will be like good one, because without this, as we can see, the data will be like we are not getting the data correctly, because as we are seeing the means if we are use this same application without locking, then maybe some wrong data is inserted, so that will show the wrong data, right? So these are the like two different approaches for applying the log means this kind of locking mechanism. So like if you guys having any comment, anything, so please let me know in the comment sections. Thanks for watching. Thank you.